said, you talked about Jesus learning as a child. He had to learn. There's a scripture in King James that says he learned obedience by the things he suffered. And I always thought that was an odd scripture, that Jesus learned obedience by the things he suffered. Is there any more detail you can?
That just means that he learned obedience because there were consequences. I'm sure if he said something sharp or harsh himself while he was growing up, that he got corrected. I'm sure that even God has given a dynamics of how to raise a child, and that is with affection, correction, and direction. And I'm sure you need all three of those when you're raising up children. I'm sure Joseph and Mary both employed that with Jesus, especially Mary, knowing that he had a powerful call on his life. And so he learned that there would be consequences. I'm not saying when he was older and he already knew that he belonged to the Father, but I'm saying before that time, if he did something, he shouldn't have done something. I'm quite sure that Mary and Joseph both had consequences for him, and he did. So in other words, the things he went through and learned, there's going to be consequences, and he did grow. And also there's a scripture that I love, as he walked in obedience to his parents and honored his parents. And I promise you, Jesus honored Joseph as the one who raised him, and Mary as a mother. He honored them, and there's promises. But in Luke 2:52, this is my favorite scripture. And Jesus, because of him walking in obedience and learning how to live, Jesus increased in wisdom and stature and favor with God and man.
That's good.
So that is what will result in your own child when you raise them with consequences, and you have those three things: affection, correction, and direction. Then that will be the result, that your child will increase in wisdom. That's understanding, right? Knowing. And stature, that means his integrity, his personal character, and favor. Now you have to see, because of his obedience, he got favor, not just with God, but with man. That's so good. Luke 2:52, you should write that down and remember that when you're declaring over your child.
And Kat, on this, the scripture is very plain that clear that he was tempted in all points and yet without sin.
You're right.
Is it possible that before he became that 12-year-old or 13-year-old boy, he did sin in the sense of he had to be corrected with something? Or how do you explain
that? Steve, you don't always get corrected for sin. Okay. They made not a good decision. That wasn't necessarily sin, right?
Okay.
Sin is rejecting. We know the basis of sin is rejecting Jesus Christ, and then you get into areas where there's an age of accountability. Nobody knows that age. God does. From that point on, you have grace, and you can have correction from your parents to go in the right direction. But maybe it was something that didn't please his parents, or maybe he shouldn't have done that. Didn't make it a sin. So there's a difference in a sin and not making good decisions.
Well, that's good. That's
so
very helpful.
I think the consequences Jesus faced as growing up would be not good decisions.
Okay.
I don't think he outright sinned, because he said without sin, right?
Yeah.
He faced it all, even as an adult, but he didn't sin. So we weren't talking about when you got corrected. When you make wrong decisions, that's how you learn not to get into sin later.
That's really good.
Remember how to stay on the right path. When you walk in obedience and honor to those who are over you, then you already learn how to walk on that path, and then you yourself can have integrity, like Luke 2:52. So I'm not ever saying he outright sinned, because it said he lived without it. But being young and immature, we do make mistakes, and our parents have to drag us back in line and give us correction and direction. That's the most important part, the direction. But don't forget affection.
Yeah, that's good. That's the best explanation I've heard on that. Totally. That's totally helpful. I know a lot of people.
That was totally from the Father. Affection, correction, and direction. You can't leave one of them out. You will not have a full-rounded child if you do nothing but give direction all the time and correction. They're not going to know how to love. You're leaving the love out. But you can't just have affection and direction and not have correction. They'll think that the world owes them everything, and they won't consider other people. And you can't even just have affection and correction and not direction. They won't even know what to do. And I've seen some kids raised that way. They couldn't make decisions on how to save, how to look for a job. So you need all three. The Father gave this. He said, "This, guess what? This is how the Father operates with us: affection, correction, and direction."
Nice. Yeah.